President Obama doubling down on new climate rules. The president unveiling tougher rules for power plants requiring generators to cut carbon emissions by a third. It's just the latest blow to the coal industry, which already has been decimated by Obama's EPA regs. But how's it going to affect the consumer? The average consumer. Let's bring in today's panel, Tom Borelli from the Conservative Review. He's also Fox News contributor, John Lonski from Moody's, and Carrie Sheffield from Forbes. John, last year when they rolled out a softer version of this, the president admitted that there would be energy costs. He said the benefits would outweigh the costs. This time, the rules are tougher, but he's actually claiming that there won't be any, that we will actually see a reduction in energy costs because of that. Do you believe this?
Not at all. Best of my knowledge, that statement is nonsensical. If anything, you're going to have utility bills grow by at least 10% annually for at least 3 years if you impose these rules. And those estimates can be on the low side.
And there are job costs as well.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot of job costs for the coal industry, without question.
Tom, we already have political fodder on this issue. Jeb Bush was quoted talking about the new power plant, saying President Obama's carbon rule is irresponsible and overreaching. The rule runs over state governments. It's going to throw countless people out of work and increase everyone's energy prices. Will Americans feel the pinch from these new rules before the election?
Oh, absolutely. Electricity prices are already going up. And this is a great political issue because Hillary Clinton's out there saying she wants to do something for the middle class. Well, there's nothing worse than for the middle class than high electricity prices. Beyond that, it's regressive. Those who could least afford to pay are going to have to pay higher energy costs. I'm talking about fixed income Americans. Right. I'm talking black Americans.
Well, Carrie, Hillary is refusing to take a stance on the pipeline issue. If this becomes a pinch to Americans before the election, won't she have to declare whether she's in favor of these new rules?
Try to nail Clinton to the wall. It's like Jell-O. So, I mean, it was the same with minimum wage. She didn't want to take a position on how high minimum wage should be as well. So we could try to hold her accountable.
She may not have debates leading into the Democratic primaries, but she will have a debate with whoever the Republicans pick. He's going to force her on this issue to declare, right?
I think Bernie could. I mean, Bernie is forcing her to pivot
to the left. But I'm talking about when it comes to the general election. Before the general election, she's going to debate with Republicans, and some Republican you know is going to say, are you for or against these EPA rules?
That would be smart. And exactly as has been said, this is about hurting the poorest Americans. I mean, Democrats like to say that they are the champions of income inequality and fighting for the little guy, fighting for the poorest among us. This is going to hit the poorest the hardest.
Tom, the states are not taking a line down, particularly the coal states. The West Virginia Attorney General was on with Cavuto earlier on Fox Business. Let's play the clip.
The EPA releases these rules that they know may not ultimately get upheld in the courts, but you release it in order to force states and utilities to come into compliance with it, knowing that if you don't get a court decision for 2, 3, 4 years, the damage will already be done.
So will the states be able to stop these rules before they go into effect?
Well, according to the way the rules work, they're supposed to submit plans to the EPA, and Mitch McConnell has told them for the states not to submit these plans, just say no. That's one strategy for these states to go forward with. But let's keep in mind the process here. President Obama did a complete end run around Congress. Remember, cap and trade died. Now he's doing it completely through the executive branch, and investors should be concerned because anything can happen when a president declares war against an industry.
John, very quickly, how much could this slow down the GDP growth?
Well, I think over time it maybe subtracts a quarter of a percentage point off of GDP.
Wow. John Lonski from Moody's. Thank you very much to all.